Good day, everyone. I just want to ask one question or give you one provocation to start with. This is a tech talk, but we're not going to use any tech other than pen and paper and a bit of conversation. So I'd invite you to put your laptops away. I know you're all super busy, but feel free to put that aside just for 60 minutes or so. And the first thing I would like you to do is just turn to the person to your left, turn to the person on your right, and say hello in a different language. Try to use their name if you can. Sorry, Carl. All right. Yes. All right, fantastic. Just back up here. All right, well done. So, as Rachel said, there's two components to this. There's the tech, and then there's the human. The communication we have, the relationships we have, start with the human, and the tech can amplify or hinder depending on our approach. So today, we're going to do a few things. We're going to go from confusion to clarity. The one major piece that always keeps coming up every time I talk to our amazing team here, and we're going to target that specifically. Okay, so we're going to understand our current stake in AI. What does it look like for us? We're going to then look at the 4 pillars of academics. We've got ethics, literacy, and agency. And then we're going to look at the simple AI traffic light system. All right, why? Why do we need to do this? Academics is inherently changing. All right, it's inherently evolving. It's now needing a pedagogical response, meaning we need to adjust, we need to think. If you ask some of the amazing people here, they're actually rethinking how they teach, how they engage, rather than, the traditional rote learning, those kind of methods. So the goal is from moving from policing to more communicative and proactive communication for our expectations with our students. So what I'm going to ask you to do is on your table, you've got a series of paper. I'm going to ask you to flip that over in a minute. But basically, over the last term and a bit, myself and a team for the tech team have been consolidating, have been interviewing, have been surveying. We've had 238 respondents, 36 staff when Kerry did the survey earlier in this year. And then we've had parents, teachers, we've had pretty much every major stakeholder contribute to this, and we've done a baseline assessment. Where are we in regards to AI? Where are we at a readiness level against world frameworks, world institutions like UNESCO, OECD, all those kind of big institutions that are leading the charge in research? Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is flip over the page. You've just got a collection of random survey data and all that. What do you notice? Write on the paper, talk about it. What are the things you notice? We've got about 5 minutes. Yeah. Random collection of this.
Does that mean they would do it one every 2 days?
Random collection, they're all bundled together. There we go. So what do you notice? What do you notice?
I might do some basic statistics. This is why I was doing
If you want some more random ones, there's so many more.
this one? What do you notice? So something we it's only going to get higher. Yeah.
To assess.
That's interesting.
That could be like the whole thing. So the
We found this over there. We didn't have anything else.
All right.
This is
Can you put all of them back over there? I'll go get you some more. I'll just help you. You need some. All right, 2 more minutes. What do you notice? Discuss. Here's some other things. They're just random. Just grab whatever you want. There'll be lots of duplicates there. So just. All right, start wrapping up. All right, thanks everyone. So just finish off your thoughts, your conversation, and we'll come back together. Okay. So, pretty robust discussions happening. May I just invite maybe 3 people to put their hand up from random and just what your table discussed, one thing that just stood out. That's all I'm asking. 1 person, maybe 3 people total. What's one thing your table noticed?
I went straight to the graphs because I'm a scientist and like colours as well. But on the one that says what matters most to you about your child's education, very interesting that academic honesty and human connections are the things that matter least to them.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. All right, anyone else? What did your table notice?
noticed that the we noticed that as well.
This one. We noticed that clearly, clearly, Mark, you said this one, didn't you? Clearly.
What were you guys talking about?
Yeah, like the teachers are all for it and the kids are not interested.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Well done. Anyone else? One thing our table noticed. One more. Something has stood out.
Can we also point out that the cohort is quite small for the 26 responses? Doesn't really seem like how much value should we attribute to this data?
Yeah.
26 people responding.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. So we're looking at small stakeholder, small snapshot. So made a very good point about the parental survey just there, the 26 responses. We had approximately 40 at a presentation that I did, and I got post-it notes, so that's included in this big data pool as well. So pretty much where we're at, 93% of our students use AI at least once a month, 52% are using it daily. Yeah. So this is a collation. The majority of this data is grades 5 to 9, and then there's a small portion of the school leadership team, so the middle school and the senior school. So the majority of the students are in that middle cohort.
Can you also clarify what you mean by AI usage? Because like every time a kid sticks something in a Google search, they're using AI.
Yeah, very good point.
So what do we mean by AI usage?
Yeah, so that's a very good point. We're going to clarify that later down the line. Essentially, in the terms of this data that was collected, it was like using ChatGPT, using like actively using rather than the embedded ones into Google searches and things like that.
Generative AI.
Generative AI, yes. So 75% roughly are unsure of the IB guidelines around AI. Now we understand they're there, but we might not have a really good understanding of what they mean for academics. And then same with the students. So overall, over the next like 12 months plus, we're going to aim to get that blue out to the green, and that's the targeted interventions that we're going to do along the line. So as I said, there's 4 core pillars. We're looking at academics, ethics, AI literacy, and human agency. But today, we are really focusing on the academic side of things, because it's top of mind. If you noticed on the survey, AI policy and academic integrity were the major things that we were looking at from the data set. So let's just really quickly clarify what IB's stance is. Now, you guys are way more experienced at IB than me. You know, I'm not from that background, but essentially this is the understanding that I've pulled out from all the research while collaborating with some tech people. So, IB does not ban AI. It is a necessary tool. Students must learn to use it. That's their stance. Required, students must be transparent about their use of AI, e.g. like citation and disclosure of use. Students' role, they need to be a critical evaluator of AI output, not a passive recipient. Essentially, their guidelines of like, hey, we want you to still think. So, let's begin with the end in mind. We are going to try and apply. So essentially, academic essay writing, before all of this happened, the point was to do all these things. Produce clear and concise writing. It was to, you know, demonstrate content knowledge, demonstrate critical analysis and evaluation, write accurately with engaging style. Then Grammarly came in a few years ago. Every university student in Australia was given Grammarly. So now we no longer had to use our own brain to think about, you know, structure. But saying that, I used it. It was how I got through my master's. It was very good. Then generative AI came in 2024, and it basically took out the need for all these other things. AI could do it to a degree, depending on, remember, rubbish in, rubbish out, all that kind of stuff. And then this year, now Gen AI can actually reference citations very accurately through programs like Perplexity and things like this. So, let's use AI detection. Let's do it.
We're aware the students are using ChatGPT on their devices, so in order to stay one step ahead of them, we've purchased AI detection software.
Teacher's Net. As always, the teachers are 4 steps behind.
We've only got 5 minutes in the server room before lunch lady Dora comes down to spit chaw.
Oh, no problem. Just let me install this patch and detection software overridden.
Okay, they've destroyed our detection software and somehow also locked us out of the microwave.
Oh, my ramen is in there. It just keeps spinning.
We're not beaten yet. We're installing a state-of-the-art firewall so that our system is unhackable.
They think we can't get around a firewall. Say hello to my little VPN.
The firewall has fallen.
No!
Godsman, we're breached.
That's it. We have no choice but to invoke the banana option.
Why is all our homework about bananas?
Einstein's theory of relativity is a linchpin in modern banana science, huh?
They ghost prompted us.
Explain.
Oh, I was gonna. The teachers hid the word banana in our assignments in invisible white text.
Explain further.
Oh, so when we pasted the homework prompts into ChatGPT, we didn't realize we also asked it to write about bananas.
They banana us, we'll banana them.
We bananaed them, they bananaed us.
So as you can see, AI detection from the systems perspective is not reliable, and it's actually true. The research is all saying that it's highly unpredictable. There is just one article, but there's many more. There was many talk of it at the EduTech Singapore conference, all around AI detection and how inaccurate it is. Okay, so if we can't police it, we can't detect it, what can we do? This is a simple system many of you already use or have heard of things like this. It's just a way of helping to communicate. What we're trying to do is use a single universal language to actually explicitly communicate when we can, when we can't, what's acceptable for our students. This is a pre-communication. This is not while you're going, this is not at the end of the task, this is before you even give it to your students. This is the idea. So, it's super simple. Everyone's seeing universal design for learning. Red, nope. Supervised tasks. Yellow, homework tasks. Green, AI tasks. What does that mean? We have got AI is not permitted for red. AI access is assumed for any sort of yellow or amber. And then AI is expected to be used in green. Remember, we're trying to get them to innovate in ways that are critical and creative. Come on. All right, so success leaves clues. The next step, we want to model success. We want to see this actually working. So I've been using this program for nearly 2 years, sorry. But here is a snippet in reverse order of my grade 9s at the moment. I said, we're going to plan on a paper. Just high-level overview, what they're doing at the moment. They're researching what is digital citizenship. They're then surveying grades 5 to 9. They are creating a chatbot to interact and collect survey data. And then they're vibe coding games to actually teach the concepts that are missing. I know that's a lot, but basically that's what digital design is doing right now. So how did I communicate? Because you know, digital design, oh, you're always on your computer. No, that's wrong. We're rarely on our computers for many things because it's all about communication. We're in a creator economy. You need to get good at communicating. So this is just a simple one. Red, AI is not permitted. You must describe your presentation yourself. If you've written it yourself, you understand it, you can communicate it better. So let's go through 3 tips. Red doesn't equal bad, okay? The purpose is to hear the student's voice. If we put a task as red, we're saying, hey, we want to hear what you have to say, what your ideas are, and based on your experiences. And they're not just tests and essays and traditional constructs. We've got to think about, you know, supervised tasks, what we want them to do for us or what we want them to do to demonstrate their skills. They can include that, but there's also way more. You guys know that. They're our bread and butter. Our supervised tasks are our bread and butter. So let's just assume most tasks are red unless we explicitly say they're not. Okay. All right. Number 2, the amber or the yellow, depending on your preference. I wanted them to do some research because I didn't want to spend weeks and weeks learning about, you know, digital citizenship and teaching them all the frameworks. I wanted them to get really accurate, really good responses for what they can do. And we use Perplexity, which is a search engine, and they could use it or not. It was up to them. If you actually talk to some students, they go, no, I actually want to do this myself. I actually want to use my own ability to search and own ability to learn. Talk to a few uni students over my years, and they're basically saying the same thing. I avoid it because I want to continue pushing myself in skill sets so that they know what is needed for them. But if it's not reality for them right now, they won't really care, and that's where the shortcuts come in. So, if we don't want students to use AI, we need to just straight up make it a red task. If it's an unsupervised task, meaning homework, or you're not there seeing what they're doing, it's got to be a yellow task because you can't really assess if they have used it or not. Essentially, you can't police it. We just saw AI detection is impossible to detect. Basically, you can speak, you can record your spoken voice, you can put it in a chat, and then you can get it to design your authentic spoken voice and writes exactly how you speak. So people are getting around it so easy. So just assume, if you don't know what they're doing, turn it to a red in class supervision or just assume it's yellow. And then we just got to look at the focus, the purpose of that task. What are we actually trying to do? Is this just like extending their learning? Is this trying to do something to then bring back into a different part of the activity? What are we trying to do? And then how vulnerable is that? So just traditional constructs. Are we basing their entire result on this thing? And if they use it, they're going to get 0 and then they're going to be destroyed, like emotionally, mentally, all those kind of things. Can we set them up for success? That's the provocation. So this brings us into the green. Now this is not really known in many aspects, but we lead the way in certain areas, and AI innovation is amazing. It's got some amazing opportunities. I told you what my grade 9's doing, and here's a snippet. I said, here's your steps for success. I expect you to use AI, and then I gave them the steps. This is for them to create a chatbot, because we're doing the production and the thinking of using this chatbot or creating a chatbot. So the opportunities here really come down to think about the purpose of the task, think about what you want them to design, what you want them to deliver, what you want them to engage with. Remember, it's a sparring partner if you use it right. It's not an outlet to just replace your own thinking. Green doesn't equal best either. We don't use it all the time. We develop, the Bloom's taxonomy, the base skills, the core skills of thinking. They're saying in university level that a lot of the university students are missing those identify, describe, explain sort of like characteristics and skill sets, and they're going straight to critical evaluation and synthesis. But the problem is, because they can't identify if it's right or wrong, they just believe what AI gives them, and remember, it'll just give you what you want because it's generative. So the confusion comes here. The difference between amber or yellow and green and the overlap. Just got to think, are you assessing their use of the tech? Awesome, make it green. We're looking how good they can do, how they prompt, how they engage, how they critically reflect. If you're not using, not assessing, and they've just got access, put it as amber. But if you think they might access and you don't want them to access, just make it red. It's a simple communication method. Unsupervised environment, that's where the issue comes in. So you just got to see where you're putting them on the scale. All right, so there's two things, product and process. We've got AI can help me do something, product, end result, hey, it wrote me an essay. Yeah, not a really good end product, but I did. And then here's some opportunities. Has anyone heard of AI vibe coding before? AI vibe coding is insane. I'll show you that later down the track. It is so easy and so amazing. Here is a quick little ethics game that I created for my grade 9. I did it in 5 minutes while the kids were ideating about their designs. All I did was use common language, what I wanted. I wanted them to do this ethics sort of test or quiz, and I basically just typed away and said, and then it coded it, created the infographic, interactive, and then they could go and play around with it and test their knowledge or their skill set. That's vibe coding. My kids are about to do that for their game design as well. Super easy, but I won't blow your mind too much. Now, full AI use for co-creation in the process. This is where you're using AI to help you think through something challenging, something that for you might stump you, but it's, as I said, that sparring partner. How do we engage with it to actually get the best output for us? And this is a fantastic one if you're already in that space, because I saw majority of us are intermediate. We self-identify as intermediate AI users. If you're ready for it, go use Mizu. Mizu is a chatbot builder. I will approve it as one of the safe ones because it's designed for education. Okay, there's a pretty decent free version in there. You don't have to pay for it. You just got to look at how many sessions you're running per day. But again, you can get students to use it to create, or you can use it to create. It's like creating a tutor or a historical figure to have one-on-one conversations, whatever it may be. Your imagination is the limit, and if you're stuck, you're like, oh, I'm just so cooked right now, it's the end of the day, ask the AI to help you imagine and ideate what this could do if you get to that stage. It's really cool. So, the technology committees have been busy putting in place that AI traffic light framework over the last 3 weeks. They've embedded it in one of their tasks from junior school to senior school. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about improving our communication. So what I'm going to invite you all to do is get up, stretch your legs, and around the sides, the back and the sides here, there's a bunch of examples. Just have a look at how it's communicated to the students at the different grade levels. What do you notice? And is the communication clearer with AI use and not AI use? We'll spend maybe 7 minutes-ish, have a discussion, get a drink while you're there. There's 2 tables there and there's 2 tables up the back. have a look, stretch your legs, and have a look at what the pre-tags are.
It tells us if it's red, amber, green. We don't have to define ourselves.
Yeah, it's on the, have a look.
On a completely unrelated but also related, I've been trying to do, I've been working with Toddle a bit and they've been asking me to only use AI to write sample exam papers.
Interesting.
Obviously because it's ESS, I'm having to find lots of data. I'm finding that sometimes it does weird things and it just picks random bits of numbers out of things and then tells me it's data, and then I go and look at the source and I'm like, that isn't the data that's in there, you've just made that up.
Yeah.
Like I'm using ChatGPT because that's what they said.
Okay.
But I know that there are others.
Yeah. How big is your context? Like how long is that chat?
Well, this thing is it's quite long, but each time I'm looking at a different subject, I start a brand new chat.
Yeah, and you've got like a project running with all the info?
Yeah, I've got all these prompts that have been written that I'm using each time, just with this is the different content. I'm inputting all of the content stuff from the IB.
Yeah. So it's basically, by the sounds of it, it's hitting its context limit and it's then making stuff up because it can't retrieve the stuff above. So you've got two options. You can either move off platform and go to something like Google Notebook LM because the context window is massive, and you just start a new notebook, store all your stuff, and then you can chat away.
Okay.
That'll probably give you higher accuracy. If you still want to use chat, I would suggest pretty much in your exclusive prompt at the start, put a very clear description, and you can get AI to write it. Do not hallucinate. It's pretty much do not hallucinate, do not make stuff, don't assume. The assumption's the issue.
Okay. Yeah.
And then if you feel like you're not 95% accurate, you need to tell me.
Find it. Yeah.
And it'll just try to find it. Yeah.
The other thing is I'm trying to get it to make maps.
That's tricky. But Google Gemini has got a free, we've got Pro version.
Okay.
Just type in Google Gemini and it'll be the Nano Banana like engine.
Of course, it's the Nano Banana.
Exactly. But that's got the best image generator and consistent image generator.
I was trying to get it to put me, I basically told it where everything was and I gave it a link to a map and then it just kept putting the same location in totally different places. At one point this site was in the middle of the ocean and I was like, no, you don't even know what you're doing right now. And I don't know, and then I start to lose confidence in like, I don't know what is right and what has just been made up now.
Because basically what it's doing is it can't, because it does a thing called parsing, which means it's breaking it up into tiny little micro bits that it remembers, so it can't replicate very well. So if you've got a really good image, it's hard. But if you've got an image that can model, use Gemini, it's free, and see what the replicated sort of versions are.
Because for some things, I'm finding chat is brilliant. Like creating systems models, it's really good at that. Kind of inputs, outputs, processes, sort of things. That is great at. But some things it's better at than others. So.
Well, that's exactly it. That's why I probably use 3 different models
I'll try Gemini,
for different
the other
things.
one is the Notebook AI.
Notebook LM. They're both
LM,
Google.
sorry.
Yeah. So the Google search engine or the Google AI system has got the biggest context windows. So meaning you can put the most. They're trying to go a different direction than OpenAI and ChatGPT. So see how you go. Let me know.
I will do.
I'm on free stuff.
All right, 2 more minutes. What do you notice?
Sorry, you cannot put into life.
All right, everyone, I'll just invite you to take a seat.
I want to take it to the hospital because it sounds like what I actually want to have is that she recommended
But like I said, marketing not
Yeah. I know. All right, everyone, take a seat, grab a bit of water. We are through to the end.
We learn from that, and yet they don't listen to us.
Yeah, no, I need a whistle. Just yeah, exactly. Get the old teacher voice out. Ah. Yeah, exactly. Probably need that, like a little movie, like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that's recording.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything dodgy.
I was saying I can't read. Somewhere in there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, everyone, let's go. Take a seat. Yeah,
it has a measuring thingy.
Toasty. All right, we're going to continue on. Grab a seat and let's get into it. All right, let's do it. All right, so we have noticed quite a bit. Discussion's good. You saw quite a lot of examples from different age ranges, different grades, different ways of communicating. Some people are doing differently, but the structure's the same. Red, don't use. Yellow, amber, assume they're using, but they don't have to. Green, use it. We're actually assessing what you're doing with it. So we want to systematize that process. So we're going to do an activity now. I know you've just wandering around, but this will be nice and short. We're just applying it right now. All rise, if you haven't heard of it. If it's red, you're going to sit down. If it's amber or yellow, you're going to put your hands on your head. And if it is green or acceptable, stay standing. So I'm going to invite you all to stand up. I'll read it out. All right, first scenario. As students submitted their CAS reflection, you discover they used AI to write it. Sit down if you think that should have been a red task. Amber, yellow, hands on head. Green, stay standing. Think about AI. All right. Good, good. This, according to IB, is technically red because all reflections always are red.
I disagree.
Yeah. All right, I invite you to stand back up. There's only 4 of these. Next one. You're assigning homework. Students will use AI to generate 3 design concepts, then justify which is the best and explain AI's limitations. Red, sit down. Amber, yellow, hands on head. Green, it's acceptable, stay standing. Yeah, this is a green task. You've told them to use it. Remember, you're assessing how well they use it. Now, there's a key clarification when it comes to IB, how well they use it. Students must document prompts, critique outputs, and demonstrate original thinking. So they still need to document how they're used. All right, stay standing if you're already up. Scenario 3, you're assigning a take-home research task. What do you communicate about AI? Red if you think it should be a human task, just fully. Yellow, hands on head. Green, acceptable. Fantastic. This is take home. We're just assuming they've got access. You may organize AI, organize your data, find sources, analyze. However, you as a teacher need to explicitly tell them what you like, what you don't like, so they don't just, produce the output that you don't want to see. All right, last one. A student used AI to find 3 different perspectives on their essay topic, then researched each one further. Sit down if you think it should be a red task. Hands on head for amber, yellow, and green. Stay standing. Remember, we're thinking our IB frameworks too. This is technically, according to IB, acceptable. So it could be a green task depending on what you communicate to them. Is it yellow? Is it green? But according to IB, that's acceptable use. Well done. Take a seat. All right. Let's just quickly clarify, and we'll go into this depth later, what AI literacy means. It's a bit of a buzzword that gets thrown around in the tech spaces all the time. You would have heard it in, the speakers that get up. But AI literacy is essentially this: how AI works for you and not how you work for AI. It's as simply as that. So when we're teaching kids about AI, it's how are you using it? How are you making it work for you? Not, hey, it's telling you, here's the answers, here's the answers, here's the answers, because now you're working for it and you're actually just responding that way. So how it works for you, not the other way around. For academics, for students, this is essentially what we're doing. Students use an academic honesty. We're following our existing academic honesty guidelines, which are IB. The same principles apply. So you need to cite your sources, including AI tools. Now, you might go, how do I do that? Yeah? Luckily, at the back, some of you have already found it. If you're in this senior school, there is a guidebook that I've developed for you. It's up the back with more examples citing all of that. You're also, at about 4 o'clock, all going to receive it via digital. So if you want the printed, it's at the back. If you want the digital, it's coming your way. All right, we need to use AI, again, as learning support, not a replacement for our learning. So, power of clarity. We saw from the examples, we saw what you're doing. It's not about being perfect, it's about trying to use and get rid of the ambiguity of like, I can or I can't. There it is, you just did it, simple as that. It took you about a split second to figure out, oh yeah, this is what I want to communicate, or this is what I think is acceptable or not. So, the only one thing I want you to do now is try and apply. Okay, so select one of your upcoming tasks in the next few weeks. Communicate to your students. When do you want to use it? When you don't want to use it? Those kind of things. Use the system, use the traffic light system. And remember, even if you are saying, hey, we're not even using AI, that's a red task. It's we're not using it, guys. We're just communicating and assuming it's read. The junior school have got a great, they've built the sign, it's a 3D massive sign, and they're actually putting it up on their walls. And they're putting an arrow, which one is it? And one of the noticings from grade 5 was the students were annoyed when the teacher didn't move the arrow. So your steps for success, simple as select your task, whatever it may be for you in your context, determine its traffic light. Is it red, amber, or green? Use the handouts at the back or the digital ones that are coming your way. Use the signage if you would like. Put it in your Google Classroom, put it in your Manage Back as you saw on the examples, and that is it. It's as simple as that. So, what we've learned today, we've gone and looked at our current state of AI in our school and what our students are already using and doing. We've looked at our 4 pillars, specifically academics, and then we've looked at applying our AI traffic light framework. Thanks everyone. If you could give me like a minute of survey, because I'm looking at what's next for you guys, feel free to get a snapshot and give me a bit of feedback. But yeah, fantastic work. I'll give you a couple of minutes for that, and then you can have a look at the resources, and then if there's anything else, we can go to PLCs if they're on.
I think there's still cookies and brownies. I think books and brownies, and I know IT. Was there any other groups that are running? Is your tech group running?
No, we're done.
Just maybe books and brownies and IT then properly. So that means if you're normally not in another PLC and just in the curriculum one, then that means you have the time to do your own.
Fantastic. So can I please ask for a little bit of feedback?
Yeah. I was just asking, who's doing books and brownies instead of pop? Where is it? Right, second floor.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.